Welcome to Bures. Bures is a little village which straddles the Essex and Suffolk border and is about 15 minutes away from my house in Earl's Colne. As you can see, Bures is another very pretty little village full of lots of history. This is the river Stour, which is one of two ways that you can pronounce it. This was my weekend without the children again, and I often find it quite lonely being stuck in all day, so I thought I'd get outside and go and explore. Next to the river, there is this lovely big green space, which must be perfect in the summer for picnics. If the weather had been better today, I would have happily gone and got a coffee and spent some time sitting on this bench right here. While I was down by the river, I couldn't help but take a peek inside of the willow tree. Its branches cascades down around you like you're stood inside a shower. I think it would be the perfect place to build a den, hidden behind all of those leaves. Just gives you some privacy where you can create your own world. As you walk back towards the village, there, hidden in plain sight, is a pillbox. Now, these little concrete fortresses were built in the early 1940s as part of the home defence. For World War II, they're everywhere. I can think of at least 4 of them that I know of that are in this area. And this one is slowly being claimed by Mother Nature. But it is a stark reminder of where we once were in the 1940s and how scared we were of being invaded by the Germans. I absolutely adore these little pockets of history which just happen to be scattered about all over England. I have a big passion for World War II. My nan and pops, when they were alive, would used to tell me lots of stories from World War II. I really have a thing for old, pretty houses, and this one certainly ticks the boxes. Look, it even has yellow roses to match, which are quite perfect. Now, next to this beautiful house stands an original telephone box. But what makes this one really, really special is that it actually still works. Inside is a BT telephone, which still has a slot for coins. I grew up always carrying a 10 or 20 pence in my pocket just in case I needed to call home. And for those of you who are too young to remember, look, the receiver has a cord which it's attached to. Now, in all my madness and excitement for finding a working telephone box, I happened to turn the phone around and not realise that I had gone from recording in landscape to portrait for a couple of minutes. So you'll have to forgive me on that. Bures doesn't have very many shops, but what it does have is lots of charm. And most of these houses would have been shops originally. Things like the baker's, the bank, all would have once existed upon this little high street. I particularly love the colour of this house, mustard yellow. Next to the bank house is a lovely sweet cafe, which I decided to go in and grab a coffee. And while inside, I happened to meet a lovely old lady called Janet, who was 89. She happened to be widowed, she had a cat, and she lived locally. And we just had a really lovely chat for about half an hour. And I really do enjoy meeting strangers and connecting with people. Again, another little bit of history right there. Look at the original post office sign. It's so small. So I was on my way home, but I happened to drive past a new garden centre that has opened up on the outskirts of Sudbury. And I know for a fact that because it's mid-November, it means their Christmas collection will be on display and will be out. So I'm going to go and have a little quick sneaky peek and try not to buy half of the shop. I love Christmas. I love the decorations. I love the lights. I love all the bling that goes with it. I don't kind of love the other side of it. But let's go and see what it's like. Okay, so we're off to a good start. That's very pretty. I do love the lights and the sparkles and the different colour palettes that make up Christmas. So I wasn't expecting this. One of the Queen of Hearts guards and the Cheshire Cat. Okay, so we're looking at an Alice in Wonderland theme, which is very lovely. Who doesn't love a little bit of Alice in Wonderland? However, do I associate it with Christmas? Not so sure. Yes, you have the reds and the blues and the golds, but I'm not too keen. Now this has to be an absolute first, a pair of stocking-covered legs with sparkly shoes hanging off above a piano. Definitely a little bit more unusual for the types of things you normally see in a garden centre. As far as a Christmas colour palette goes, I happen to agree with the red and the gold and the green and the white. They are definitely my favourite. Now, all of this is very pretty, but it also really stings emotionally. I find being alone through most of this period really, really difficult. I miss my mum terribly. I lost her nearly 10 years ago, and Christmas has not been the same since. I'm very lucky that I now have Michael to have Christmas with, and he will be flying in on Christmas Eve, which is perfect. But for the run up to Christmas, I will be predominantly on my own, and that is really hard. Now, this was my favourite display. It was a 1940s inspired wartime. Look, there's the ration book and a soldier's uniform and just basic baking. I just loved it. And even on the walls, it features wartime posters, and I really loved it. The question is, did I make it out unscathed? No, I did not. I bought a tiny little Christmas tree for display, which was £2.49, which I actually think isn't too bad. I also bought a bundle of orange slices and cones, and this was, I think it was around £8-9, which for the whole bag isn't bad. And then last but not least, a garland. Well, the bare bones of a garland. I already have like a holly one at home, but I actually fancy trying to make my own. So this was £8.99. So therefore £20, not too bad actually. I kind of feel like I did okay. It could have been a lot worse considering all the things they had in there. I did love some robin tea towels that they had, but they were £15 each, and that does not go into my budget. Now I'm going home. When I finally did get home, I put the fire on and got ready to sit and write a card to Michael. Here's Foggy coming for a quick cuddle. He is such an affectionate cat. He loves being stroked under his chin, and he lets Maisie stroke his belly, which I cannot believe he wouldn't let you do that a few years ago. Now, as I was saying, I quite enjoy writing to Michael. I like sending him letters and cards and things. This one will probably be for Christmas. I know it's old-fashioned, and I know we don't need to. In fact, we speak at least 5 or 6 times a day, if not more, on the weekends. But there's something about writing how you feel down onto a bit of paper or a card. You have to sit and really think about what you want to say and how you want to say it. And I feel like making that effort is really meaningful to me. And then it was back to Monday again. But I had, however, finished work and decided to go for a little walk. At the bottom of the garden of the Airbnb that I look after is this amazing field and a river. And so I had time and I wanted to go and explore. I would absolutely love to live on the back of fields, because I know what I'm like. I would just be over there all the time, especially watching the fields change as the seasons go by. Hopefully this coming week will be a peaceful one and will also bring me some positive news for a change. There's a lot I am really trying to work on and hope I get some good news. Thank you once again for joining me on this crazy journey that I find myself on. Hopefully next week we can get a little bit more into the festive spirit and start to get ready for Christmas.